Welcome back to RedditRx. On today's video, girls who took notes using 50 different colored pens. Where are you now? Do you still continue to write using all those colors? Am I allowed to answer if I'm a guy? Because I ended up becoming the Excel guy in my office. All of my spreadsheets are exquisitely color coded. My grade 9 science teacher forced us all to do it. He said that by color coding everything you understood the material better because you had to think about it longer to color code it and understand what other things it was associated with. Not just zone out and go into transcribing mode. He also made us do end of unit study guides. They had to be color coded, a set amount of drawings, and unit words and definitions. The drawings were doodles based on things in the unit. He would mark them and hand them back before the test, which was great because he knew if he needed to help us with something before we bombed the test. He was also a MMA fighter with cauliflower ears and not a type of guy you would expect to demand rainbow colored notes. Edit. There's a lot of people asking for examples. So I'll make one up this afternoon. There's a PM at my company that does this. No idea how the hell she has the focus and time to take such detailed Technicolor dream notes during meetings. But I've never had a problem with getting any relevant info from her. So, go to respect note-taking game like that. We all became bullet journalists. Certain law school prep guides teach you to take notes on court opinions using different colors. 90% of first year law students show up with 4 different color highlighters. By the end of the last year, few still use them. In legal practice I have developed color coding for notes of the cases I'm working on. I have not yet found a way to put a heart over the I in my filings. I use different ink and highlighter colors to compensate for terrible ADD. I work in a chemistry lab now. Sometimes I'll still use brightly colored pens to record my results for fun, but I don't ever switch between colors color code anything anymore. All the different colored ink highlighting helped me remember my notes come exam time, so now that I'm out of college, I don't need to switch between colors. I low-key miss color coding and taking notes sometimes, though. I still color code based on class. Each class has a color. This color includes the folder color, the pen color, the sticky note color that the assignments are written on and placed in my planner on the date they are due. I also teach intro statistics to undergraduates, where I also color code parts of the equations and the values that get inserted to the equation, so the students can see where the numbers come from more easily. Edited to change kids to students. That was a poor word choice on my part. Apologies. I'm a medical lab technician. I took notes with a million different colored pens in college, up until 2 years ago. I graduated at age 41. Just bought myself a nice new set of gel pens. Real talk. Multiple colors really helped me categorize and compress complex ideas into things I could remember. It helped a lot in understanding the material and studying for tests. I think they're teachers now, and yes, they still use all those colors. I will never forget sitting in class and asking the girl sitting next to me for a pen, and she turns back to me with a straight face and says to me, "What color?" Edit. This blew up. Thank you for the award. That marks my first, but hopefully not the last. I work in an office setting now and do still like to use different colored pens for things, if the situation allows it. I don't know if this will make sense to anyone else, but I love colors. I especially like the idea of colors being associated with ideas, personalities, names or themes. Oh, today is Monday. I think orange is a good Monday color. Pink is Friday. Green is Wednesday. I love how Windows 10 allows me to change the colors of tiles so that my computer seems more like me. I am constantly changing the colors of my Apple Watch face. I dunno. I think I have a problem. ETA. The thoughts and discussions being shared here have been very interesting and eye-opening. Thanks for the silver as well. I do just want to add that I am fairly certain I do not have synesthesia. I know someone that does, and from my very limited knowledge of it, it isn't a voluntary association of colors like mine probably would be. I always automatically like to associate stuff with color or mood, but I don't know that it happens involuntarily. Think of what I do as more of what happens in the video game Persona 5, where each character has a color associated with them intentionally. I love that kind of stuff. My wife did this when we were in school, and she still loves using multicolored pens for everything she can. She even uses her own pretty colors for writing in the labels for things at work. You can always tell work that was done by her from everyone else's. A true ray of sunshine. Edit. I told my wife about all the upvotes on this comment and she is thrilled about all the attention. Edit 2. 1/27 7 PM. Thank you so much to both of the kind strangers who awarded this comment. Never thought it would blow up so much. The wife is happy. I work in IT, and yes, I still have all those colors and still use them all in my day planner. I actually do. I'm now a professional scientist and it makes my lab notebook pretty, plus frankly often it's really helpful to have multiple colors. I also like having a bunch of colors for seminar speakers because it somehow keeps me more interested to choose a different color for a different speaker. Honestly though, the core reason is the main reason I enjoy multiple colors is because I often feel the secret to success against procrastination is negotiating with your inner 5-year-old. Okay, you need to write these notes, but if you do, asterisk, you can choose what color to write them in. You might as well find a little happiness in the world where you can. I am a med student now. Also I am failing because I no longer have time to use fancy pens and prepare colorful notes for all my classes. Unfortunately not allowed in the line of work I chose. So now I use 50 different colored post-it notes. Improvise, adapt and overcome. I'm one of those girls currently in college. I don't do it because I'm organized or anything. I just fucking love buying pens, markers. And otherwise I can't pay attention to my notes. It's aesthetically appealing to me, which immensely helps encourage me to actually take notes. I have a few friends that do that. One of them is studying to be a doctor, moved the colored pens to a tablet to easily switch colors. Another wants to become a sign language translator, keep forgetting the actual term. A guy classmate of mine did this. One of the smartest in the class. His notes were fantastic. He's an engineer now and has a great family life from what I see on his FB. Cool guy. Jason, if you're reading this, you rock, my dude. I'm a high school English teacher and there's a big correlation between note-taking skills and success in my classes. Color coding notes definitely helps. They migrated to our fountain pens and use 50 different inks with 100 different pens now. I mostly write everything in purple now, but sometimes I use other colors and I like colorful post-it notes. I am working towards being a kindergarten teacher. Edit. Slow down. If you want a copy, message me. Edit 2. I'm sorry if I don't get to everyone. There's a lot you guys asking. Hope you understand. Have a nice day. I color coded my notes. I have OCD. And it makes everything feel neater and easier to flick through. If you want, I'll give my system as I found it to be very useful. Maybe you will too. Oh, and I am currently unemployed, but due to the recent birth of my son, James, I've been looking into jobs. Or an alternative way. I use black for titles and subtitles, as, for me, the title isn't that important. The dates are written in a subtle color, because the focus should be on the stuff below. I'm not focusing on the title, more on the definitions, keywords, diagrams, instructions, etc. Blue is the most used, as that's usually what I use for simple stuff. Red is used for diagrams, definitions and instructions and research. Shows that red helps with more detailed information than blue. Also, red is cool. I highlight keywords in pastel pink because it looks pretty with blue and highlight in pastel orange because fire and shit. As for the summary, I write it in grey with a black border. It's a lot. But I mainly just focus on aesthetic more than anything. Sure do. I'm almost 35, in college, and still using multicolored pens. I paint for a living, so I switched from pens to paint. The gel pens were fun but impractical. I stick to basic ink colors because it's easier to read things with a strong contrast. But I have Sharpies in every color because doodling is fun. I'm an engineer with dyslexia and ADHD. I took notes with tons of colors and still do now. The colors help me stay organized, keep track of numbers and not mix up information. I keep like categorically and have a whole notation system. A friend recommended I try it in college and it helped me go from C's to B+ and A's. I'm good at picturing notes and the colors help to guide my brain to the relevant information in my memory picture, if that makes sense. In all one color it just looked like a jumbled mess. Either way, yes, I still use colored pens as a 30-year-old adult engineer, woman shrugging. My cousin did this in HS. She is now a very organized and successful nurse. I went from being in school to be a grade school art teacher to stay at home homeschooling mom to now finishing up a graduate degree in computer science and have job lined up as a software developer. And yes, I still use all those colors and elf Lord in them because colors. And it's the easiest for me to read. I had a friend who used to do that. One of the smartest people I knew. She is married now and has a kid and is a stay-at-home mom. This reminds me of a girl in one of my college classes. It would be inaccurate to say she took notes. She took asterisk transcripts asterisk dot. She would write down everything in class. Everything the teacher said, every quote from the book that we read. Even every rabbit trail the class went down. She'd be taking meticulous notes, including asking students for their first and last name so she could attribute the quotes properly. Our midterm exam was a 10-page paper. She spent 30 hours on hers and got a 97%. I spent 2 hours on mine and got a 93%. I was much happier trading that 4% of my grade for 28 hours of my life. Bold of you to assume that's a girl-only thing. I don't write much anymore. But I still use colored pens for my personal notes. The color depends on my mood. When I used to keep a meticulous fitness agenda, everything was color-coded. I'm a guy doing a master in engineering. Uses 4 colors of pen: red, blue, black, green, for all my life. I have a bag of scented markers and a bag of rainbow pens I keep in my office for when I attend work meetings. Also not a teacher, but I am a director of a facility that serves kids. Yup. Homeschooling Sam here. I use one set of colors for my personal planner. Each person has their own color. Bills have one. Holidays and birthdays share one. Family and community events have their own. And finally the animals have a color. School planning has another set for each subject. I knew a guy who would take color-coded notes in class. Then immediately after class go through them and then do even more advanced color coding with added references and stuff. He was probably the hardest working and smartest guy I've ever known. And he grew up in a small village in Venezuela and now is a US citizen and officer in the Navy. Made me embarrassed that he is a better speaker in 2 languages than I am in 1. They now work for the FBI as it analysts. They are all called Penelope Garcia. Ended up in med school, so not doing bad, I guess. I do still continue color coding everything in college as I did in high school and before. My case of synesthesia lets me see words, letters and certain concepts in different colors. By using the same colors to actually write the words or underline them, I solidify the memory links in my brain. And it helps me remember things. I also take graphic notes with arrows and double lines or write in groups of small areas, etc. so that I can clearly categorize things I need to remember. If you're a visual learner, this helps a lot. Nurse here. 4 colored pens are an absolute must for my job to keep organized. On my assignment sheet, anything ordinary in black, code status in red, things I need to do in blue, lab results in green. Then I'm at peace. I'm a dramatic artist and I used all the pens just for that. My teachers hated me for giving them rainbows of notes and work. But I always wrote them a little key on the back of the paper. So they grudgingly accepted it. Except one math teacher who liked and looked forward to my stuff. I'm now a dog boarder and my schedules are so colorful only I can decipher them. I still art, but not as much unfortunately. We all have bullet journals now. As a guy who has been doing this for almost 7 years of uni now, I can say that it's absolutely worth it. Pleasant looking and well organized notes go a long way to make reviewing material 100 times more enjoyable. Wife did this as a kid, through high school and became amped in college. But now she's a teacher and writes in different colors for a living. We're currently moving out of the country and she can't part with pens she doesn't even use. She managed to smuggle them into her carry-on bag. Send help. I'm 22, in university and this year I am trying to really improve my studying and note taking outside of lectures. So, I decided to do 3 colored notes with red, blue and black pens because all other girls I know take notes like that. And they all have much better GPAs than I do. I graduated with my PhD. I still have a love of extremely neat notes with color coding and fonts and neatly drawn graphs. My licensing exam study binder was a thing of beauty. And I actually wound up making a PowerPoint presentation for last year's residents on the exam and study tips, complete with several personalized memes. This shit brings me so much joy. I still have about 8 different colors of pens in my office, although now all my reports are typed and have to conform to a particular aesthetic. So I'm stuck. I do, however, now have a handmade stone pen courtesy of my father-in-law and a very cool fountain pen made from trimmed branches of a 100-year-old olive tree that my husband gifted me. So no more neat colors, but my love of excellent writing materials lives on. I was exactly this girl. I had about 50 glittery color gel pens, and for each school assignment I would choose 5 random different ones to write and decorate my notebooks with. 20 years later, I'm a graphic designer and illustrator. I still love making things nice and colorful with cool typography. I basically did not change at all. I just have slightly better taste now. Not a girl, but in my business law class during undergrad we were allowed to use our notes for the tests. It was much easier to color code everything, so I could find it quickly if I needed to reference it. Different colors for terms, cases, outcomes, etc. I've been unemployed for about 6 months. I am still in school. I used to get straight A's, but now I am not even straight. Edit. I spend too much to asking girls to borrow their pens. Honestly, having a variety of pen colors really helps me know A, which is new handwriting, and B, who steals my pens. It's a lot easier when you get billing in all black and white or the PM. Used black, blue or red ink. I've got purple, pink, green, brown in multiple points and brands. I work at Disneyland now and do all of my inventory work in multicolored gel pens. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this Reddit story, please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.